And welcome back to another episode here on The Richter Show. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about the airport in Jakarta, Indonesia. And I'm also going to talk about the lounge itself. I wanted to mix both into one because it kind of makes sense since you're going to be at the airport. And I want to talk about the airport first of all, saying that it is actually a very nice airport. It's spacious, it's big, it's clean, it's got a lot of little entertainment around. At one point I even saw a lady singing and dancing traditional Indonesian folklore, and there's a lot of little things that you can see outside and while you wait for your taxi ride, for example. And it's not as hectic as I thought it was going to be. It's actually very organized. The bathrooms were actually very clean, and I didn't have any issues at the airport either when I arrived or when I departed. Now, I do have to mention that when you arrive, depending on your nationality, of course, when you go through immigration, you might need a visa or not. But in my case, there was something that I didn't know, that even though I had a visa, I had to do like this declaration in which you can scan a QR code. I didn't know that. You scan the QR code before going and entering the country itself. And that took a little bit of a process. The declaration is easy to do. It's basically just filling out that you're not bringing anything illegal into the country and how many days you're staying and your name and basic information. So it's not as difficult as it is, but I guess for an older generation that are not so tech savvy and they don't have a smartphone or so, there are some computers where you can do it at. Wi-Fi is free at the airport, so don't worry about that. Think that you might have to use your data or you're gonna be stuck. If not, just go to the computers which they have right there right before you exit. And once again, also the check-in process was easy as well. I did everything online. I tried to do everything online as best as possible. I downloaded the app, even though if I'm gonna be using the airline just one time, I'd rather have the app and have my boarding pass and everything, so that way when I go to the airport, all I have to do is just drop my bag. Most airlines now allow you to do that. In this case, I was flying with Turkish Airlines, so I was able to do that process quick and easy. I used Turkish Airlines to get to Indonesia, and I used them to get out of Indonesia. In which, for another video, I would also, just a little heads up, I recommend Turkish Airlines. They're pretty good. Anyway, now let's dive right into it when it comes to the lounge. Let's talk a little bit about the lounge itself in the airport itself. I was able to stay there, and I was actually able to use them twice so I can review it. And I would have to say that that lounge is actually convenient to get to. It's not hidden, because sometimes I've seen these airports where the lounge is just kind of confusing to get to. This one is not. There's signs for it so you can get straight to it. I do have to also mention that I get into these lounges using the priority pass, in which that priority pass is given to me by a certain credit card, which I'm not gonna name right now because that will be for another video. And that credit card gives me access to the priority pass, and then with the priority pass I can access a whole bunch of lounges all around the world. It is a bit of a buffet, just put it that way, and it does have drinks. You have to understand that in some particular countries, alcohol is kind of forbidden due to their religion, or it's very limited and only for foreigners. But in this case, alcohol was limited, or it was just simply non-existent. Just the way it is. If not, you can still enjoy the food and enjoy other non-alcoholic beverages as well. If you want something extra, in some lounges like this one, you do have to pay extra if you want to get something in particular. Now, it was a nice and comfortable lounge. There's a lot of spacing to it. You have a little bit of privacy in your own area, but don't expect any type of cubicles or so. There is a smoking area as well if you want to use that for smoking, clearly. And this is something a little bit rare, which you don't see that much. There actually is like a sort of balcony. We actually can see the planes coming in and out. That used to be something from the past that was cool. You used to be able to go on these balconies and see the planes landing and departing. On old airports you would see that, but nowadays that has been all closed off due to unfortunate terrorist attacks. But anyway, that's not important. So with this lounge, would I recommend to stay in it? Absolutely, yeah. How much would I rate it? And on the Richter scale, I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. I'm gonna take a little bit point off because even though there was priority in meals, there could have been a little bit more in comparison to other ones. And there is not that much privacy if you want to get into like an area where it's just for you, or maybe just a small 3 or 4 group. It was basically just like an open area with chairs and tables everywhere. And once again, I compare it to other lounges as well, but either way, 3.5 is good. And of course I would go back in there, even though it's the only option that I have when I'm there using the priority pass again. Anyway, if you like reviews like these, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I can give you more tips and ideas on what these airports and lounges look like and what to expect. Anyway, I'll see you on the next airport and lounge review here only on The Richter Show.
Shout out to the host, to the Richter. This the Richter Show, the Richter Show.